Greetings, true believers. Well, our look at Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe now continues on with the second film we're going to be looking at today, and also the penultimate film we're going to be looking at today, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3. So, let's take a look at it. At their new headquarters on Nowhere, the Guardians of the Galaxy are attacked by Adam Warlock, a sovereign warrior created by High Priestess Aisha, who seeks to destroy them for stealing from her. After critically wounding Rocket, Adam is stabbed by Nebula and flees. The Guardians' medpacks are ineffective at healing Rocket's wounds due to a kill switch embedded in him by the organization Orgocorps. The Guardians travel to Orgocorp's headquarters to find the switch's override code and save Rocket's life. As Rocket lies unconscious, he recalls his past. He was found as a baby raccoon and was experimented on by the High Evolutionary, Orgocorp's leader, who sought to enhance and anthropomorphize animal life forms known as humanimals, to create an ideal society called Counter-Earth. Rocket befriended his fellow Batch 89 test subjects, the Otter Lila, the Walrus Teefs, and the Rabbit Floor. The High Evolutionary was impressed by Rocket's growing intelligence and used his insight to fix a defect in later humanimal batches. However, he became envious of Rocket's intellect and planned to harvest his brain for further research before exterminating the obsolete Batch 89. Rocket attempted to free his friends, but the High Evolutionary killed Lila and mocked Rocket for showing grief over her death. Enraged, Rocket mauled the High Evolutionary, whose henchman killed Teefs and Floor in the ensuing firefight. Rocket fled in his spaceship. Aww. In the present, an alternate version of Gamora, who was joining the Ravagers, helps the guards infiltrate Orgocorp. They retrieved Rocket's file, but discovered that the code was removed by Thiel, one of the High Evolutionary's advisors. The Guardians, along with Gamora, depart for Counter-Earth to find him. They're followed by Aisha and Adam after the High Evolutionary, their race's creator, threatened to wipe out the Sovereign if they fail to retrieve Rocket. The Guardians reach Counter-Earth and are guided to the Arete Laboratories complex. Drax and Mantis remain with Gamora and Rocket, while Peter, Quill, Groot, and Nebula travel to Arete. Nebula is forced to wait outside the guards due to her cybernetic enhancements. Quill and Groot enter Arete, while Drax tricks Mantis in pursuing Quill's group. Gamora saves Rocket from Adam and High Evolutionary's guard Warpig. Questioned by Quill, the High Evolutionary admits this version of Counter-Earth society is imperfect, so he bombards the planet, killing the Humanimals as well as Aisha. Arete departs as a spaceship, with Nebula, Drax, and Mantis boarding to rescue Quill and Groot. However, the other pair escape Arete with Theo, who they kill before retrieving the code from his corpse. They are rescued by Gamora in their ship. As Quill's group uses the code, Rocket flatlines and has a near-death experience in which he reunites with Lila, Teefs, and Floor. He learns from Lila that his time has not yet come, as Quill succeeds in disabling the kill switch and restarting Rocket's heart. Drax, Nebula, and Mantis encounter several genetically modified human children on Arete, the High Evolutionary's next batch of test subjects, before being captured. The other Guardians stage a rescue, leading to a battle against the High Evolutionary's forces. Kraken fires on Arete with Nowhere and then helps to save Nowhere citizens from a counterattack by the High Evolutionary's Hellspawn. Intent to retreat, the High Evolutionary's crew mutiny but are killed by their leader. Drax, Nebula, and Mantis befriend 3 monstrous obelisks to escape and reunite with the rest of the Guardians. The Guardians delay leaving Arete, choosing to rescue the children, who escape to Nowhere via a tunnel constructed by Cosmo's telekinesis. Rocket discovers imprisoned animals on the ship and is confronted by the High Evolutionary, whom the other Guardians defeat. Rocket spares the High Evolutionary, and the Guardians help the animals escape to Nowhere. Quill nearly dies trying to cross over from Arete to Nowhere, but is saved by Adam, who had earlier been rescued from the destruction of Arete by Groot. Quill decides to leave the Guardians, names Rocket as a new captain, and reunites with his grandfather on Earth. Mantis embarks on a journey of self-discovery with the obelisks. Gamora rejoins the Ravagers, and Nebula and Drax remain on Nowhere to raise the rescued children. In mid-credits scene, the new Guardians, Rocket, Groot, Kraken, Cosmo, Adam, Phyla, one of the rescued children, and Adam's pet Blurp, take on a mission. And that's it. So yeah. Anyway, so let's begin. Yeah. So let's take a look at the production of this movie, beginning with the development and beginning with the initial work. Guardians of the Galaxy writer-director James Gunn stated in November 2014 that, in addition to having the basic story for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 while working on the first film, he also had ideas for a potential third film. Despite this, he was unsure in June 2015 if he would be involved with the third Guardians film, saying that it would depend on how he felt after making Volume 2. In April 2016, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, the producer of the Guardians films, said a third film was planned for the franchise as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2020 and beyond. In March 2017, Gunn said there would be a third film for sure, we're trying to figure it out, soon adding that there were no specific plans for the film yet, but that Marvel wanted to make it unless something goes horribly, which is always possible, you never know. He also reiterated that he had not decided whether he would be directing the film, and that he was going to figure out his involvement and his next project over the next couple of weeks. Part of Gunn's reluctance to return to the franchise came from not wanting to work on it without Michael Rooker, who was character of the first two films. Yondu Udonta died at the end of Volume 2. Gunn announced in April 2017 that he would return to write and direct Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3. He said the film would be set after Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and would conclude the story of this iteration of Guardians of the Galaxy and help catapult both old and new Marvel characters into the next 10 years and beyond. He also felt that the three Guardians films would work together as a whole, telling one story, with the third film tying a lot of stuff together from the first two and giving a lot of answers on a lot of different things. Gunn also planned to work with Marvel on the future of the Marvel Cosmic Universe. He was set to begin work on Volume 3 shortly after his work as executive producer and consultant on Infinity War. On returning for the third film, Gunn said, "I wouldn't have said yes if I didn't have a fairly clear idea of where we were going, what we're going to do. I'm not a guy that's just going to do it if I don't have a vision for it." After originally including Adam Warlock in his script treatment of Volume 2, Gunn and Feige noted the importance of the character on the cosmic side of the MCU and hinted that he would make an appearance in Volume 3. In May 2017, after release of Volume 2, Gunn said he would be creating a third film over the next 3 years, and confirmed that Palm Clemente would reprise her role as Mantis. He also intended to have Elizabeth Debicki reprise her role as Aisha. By mid-June, Gunn had completed the first draft of his script treatment for the third film, and was considering changing a piece of character info he had placed in the background of the mugshot sequence of the first film when the Guardians are captured by the Nova Corps. In September, Gunn read that Volume 3 would be released in a little under 3 years, as the film had privately been set for release on May 1st, 2020. And then in February 2018, Gunn planned to meet with Mark Hamill about possibly appearing in the film. In April, Chris Pratt was set to reprise his role as Peter Quill / Star-Lord, and the following month, Dave Bautista confirmed that he would reprise his role as Drax the Destroyer. Marvel received the completed first draft of the screenplay from Gunn by the end of June, ahead of the beginning of official pre-production on the film. And now on to, unfortunately, the firing of James Gunn. On July 20th, 2018, Disney and Marvel severed ties with Gunn. This came after conservative commenters, such as Mike Cernovich, began circulating old tweets he had made regarding controversial topics such as rape and pedophilia, and called for his firing. The Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan F. Horn stated, "The offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James's Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our studio's values, and we have severed our business relationship with him." When a part of the decision to fire Gunn, Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger supported the unanimous decision from the various executives at Marvel and Walt Disney Studios. In response, Gunn said in a series of tweets that when he started his career, he was making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo, but felt as he has developed as a person, so is my work and my humor. He continued, It's not to say I'm better, but I'm very, very different than I was a few years ago. Today, I try to root my work in love and connection and less in anger. My days saying something just because it's shocking and trying to get a reaction are over." In a separate statement, Gunn said that the tweets at the time were totally failed and a fortune of efforts to be provocative, and adding, "I understand except the business decisions taken today. Even these many years later, I take full responsibility for the way I conducted myself then." In response to the firing, many of the Guardians cast members tweeted support for Gunn. Rucker decided to leave Twitter, while fans signed an online petition for Gunn to be reinstated, which received over 300,000 signatures. The firing also garnered reaction from other Hollywood personalities, such as actress Selma Blair and comedian Bobcat Goldthwait, and inspired opinion pieces on the firing and how it would affect Hollywood from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and news organizations such as The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, Hollywood, and Forbes. On July 30th, the cast of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, including Brad, Zoe Saldana, Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, Sean Gunn, Clementif, Rooker, and Karen Gillan, issued a statement in support of James Gunn saying, "We fully support James Gunn. We are all shocked by his abrupt firing last week and have intentionally waited these 10 days to respond in order to think, pray, listen, and discuss. In that time, we have been encouraged by the outpouring of support from fans and members of the media who wish to see James reinstated as director of Volume 3, as well as discouraged by those so easily duped into believing the many outlandish conspiracy theories surrounding him." Despite this notable vociferous support Gunn received, Variety reported that Disney was not planning to rehire him as the jokes were unacceptable in the Me Too era and are not aligned with Disney's family-friendly image. Variety continued that, despite rumors of Gunn being replaced by established Marvel directors such as Jon Favreau or Taika Waititi or the Russo brothers, Marvel had yet to meet with any other director and would most likely hire someone new. In early August, Bautista said he would fulfill his contract and appear in the film as long as Marvel chose to use Gunn's existing script. Disney and Marvel still wanted to move forward quickly on the film and was soon confirmed to be keeping Gunn's script. This, combined with the fact that Gunn did not breach his contract since the tweets were written years before he signed on the film, led to complicated negotiations between Gunn and Disney over his exit settlement. Gunn was expected to be paid $7 to $10 million or more, and there was some hope that the negotiations could lead him to eventually return in some capacity, even if it was to develop and direct another Marvel movie. Gunn was free to move on to new projects following the settlement, and other major studios were interested in hiring him, including Warner Brothers, for their eventual superhero franchise, the DC Extended Universe. During this time, executives at Marvel Studios began back-channel conversations with Disney in an attempt to find a compromise that could lead to Gunn returning to the film in some way. This 11th-hour effort from Marvel was inspired by the statements from the film's cast. In mid-August, Gunn met with Horn following a strong push from Gunn's talent agency for him to be given a second chance. Despite this and the reported civil and professional nature of the meeting, Horn only took it as a courtesy and used it to reaffirm Disney's decision to fire Gunn. Later in August, the small crew that was preparing for pre-production were dismissed as production film was postponed, so Marvel and Disney could find a director to replace Gunn. Pre-production was to have begun by the end of 2018, with principal photography set for January or February 2019. This time, Bautista wasn't sure if he would return for the film, as he didn't know if he would want to work for Disney given how they handled the firing of Gunn. In late September, James Gunn's brother Sean, who played Kraglin Opfantery and provided motion capture for Rocket in the previous Guardians films, reiterated that Disney still intended on making the film with James' script, but had not revealed to the cast when production may continue. Sean added that he had been preparing to reprise his roles for the third film after his brother's firing. At the end of the month, Cooper was asked if he would consider directing Volume 3 after the success of his directorial debut with Star Is Born, but said that he could never imagine directing a film that he did not write. By mid-October, James Gunn had completed his exit settlement with Disney and was set to write and potentially direct The Suicide Squad for Warner Brothers and DC Films. And now on to the rehiring of Gunn. The day after Gunn joined The Suicide Squad in mid-October 2018, he was privately notified by Horn that he could return as director for Volume 3. This came after further meetings between the studios and Gunn. Horn had changed his mind after being impressed by Gunn's response to the situation. Gunn discussed his commitments to the Suicide Squad with Feige, and production of Volume 3 was put on hold until February 2021 to allow Gunn to complete the Suicide Squad first. In December, after working with Marvel Studios on the script for Ant-Man, Adam McKay said he was willing to work with the studio again and stated that he had discussed taking over as director for Volume 3 with Feige, among other projects. In early 2019, Feige and Pratt reiterated that Marvel would still make Volume 3, and in March 2019, Gunn was quickly revealed to have been rehired as the director of the film. Telling Hollywood stated the Marvel Studios had never met with or considered any other director for the film. By the end of April, the franchise's 5 main stars, Pratt, Saldana, Bautista, Cooper, and Diesel, were all expected to return for the sequel, with filming taking place in 2020. With filming to take place in 2020. Discussing his firing and rehiring in May 2019, Gunn said that all the elements of the film that he had been sad to leave when he was fired, the most meaningful to him was the character of Rocket. Gunn personally identifies with Rocket, describing himself and the character as the same. He actually grown to love the character since working the first film due to feeling that an origin story for Rocket could satisfy what a Bugs Bunny-like goofy character like him could exist in the MCU if it were the saddest one in the universe, creating it as the seed of the trilogy. While Volume 3 effectively reveals Rocket's backstory through flashbacks, akin to those from the story structure of The Godfather Part 2, Gunn initially considered telling Rocket's origins in a team-up movie between him and Groot without the other Guardians, but ultimately felt that he had to conclude Peter Quill's story first and then focus on Rocket in a third Guardian-centric film. That month, Gillian confirmed that she was returning for the sequel and expressed excitement for Gunn's return to the franchise. In June, Saldana was asked about her role in the film after her character Gamora was killed in Infinity War, and she returned to play a younger version in Endgame who travels through time to the present. Saldana said that Gamora's fate would depend on the plans that Marvel and Gunn have for Volume 3, but that she would like to see Gamora rejoin the Guardians and also be portrayed as the most lethal woman in the galaxy, as she had been referred to previously. Gunn was asked in October if he was unhappy about Marvel's decision to kill Gamora in Infinity War, and said that he was not, adding that he had discussed the storyline with the studio beforehand. According to Infinity War and Endgame screenwriters Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, Gamora was brought back in Endgame specifically so that Gunn could include her in Volume 3. So Gunn found no complications over writing her character arc in Volume 3 due to having been told in advance. In December, Gunn was asked if he would have Yondu return to the film and said as long as he was involved with the Guardians' characters, he would not have the character be resurrected. Gunn felt the stakes of a character's death were important and said characters who died in his films would likely remain dead. Gunn said in February 2020 that bringing Yondu back to life would nullify Yondu's sacrifice in Volume 2 and said that the character would not return unless it was for a prequel or flashback. Gunn later said Yondu would not be resurrected in the film to not diminish his death's meaning. In April, Gunn said the COVID-19 pandemic would not affect production plans for the film at the time, saying the next month the film will be released a little after 2021. In August 2020, Gunn turned in a new draft of the film script and began writing a spin-off series from the Suicide Squad titled Peacemaker. A month later, he was planning to work on Volume 3 in 2021 after completing that film and series. He confirmed in November that the script for Volume 3 was finished and said that very little had changed from his initial ideas despite the production setbacks. The film was given a 2023 release date a month later, and filming is set to begin in late 2021. Shortly after, it was also to be set after the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which I highly recommend all of you watch because it is awesome, so there you go. But yeah, anyway. So now on to the pre-production. Pre-production work creating the designs and visuals for the film began by April 2021. In early May, Marvel Studios announced that the film would be released on May 5th, 2023. Later that month, Gunn said Volume 3 would take place after the events of Thor: Love and Thunder, which features several Guardians characters. That film concludes the storyline established in Endgame, which sees Thor journey off with the Guardians. Gunn noted that this ending was decided upon in editing and conflicted his already submitted screenplay for Volume 3, since he never planned to feature Thor in the film. Gunn had begun storyboarding the film in June, which later revealed to begin in November 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia for an expected end around April 2022. By then, Bautista said he had not read a script for Volume 3 and wasn't sure if it had changed during the production delays. The next month, Gunn said that she and Clementive had read the script together and she found it to be incredible, brilliant, emotional, and funny. She also felt that it was Gunn's strongest work yet with the Guardians characters. Gunn reiterated that the script had basically stayed the same from the 3 years prior, but had been playing with it in little ways over the years. He was in the middle of another draft by the end of the month and said the film would be emotional and have a heavier story than the previous films, with a more grounded approach that was inspired by the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. An early option Gunn had in mind for the character who would become the film's main villain and be revealed to be the one who created Rocket as the Fantastic Four villain Annihilus. Gunn ultimately opted to fill the role with the High Evolutionary. Gunn originally wrote a cameo appearance for Kumail Nanjiani, a friend of his, but removed this after learning Nanjiani was cast as Kingo in Marvel Studios' Eternals. By late August, Gunn and Marvel Studios began meeting with actors for the role of Adam Warlock, including Will Poulter. Georgia McKay was also on the shortlist, and Regé-Jean Page was considered for the part. David Cornswet, who was later cast as DC Comics character Superman in the Gunn's film Superman, also auditioned for the role. Both auditioned for the role over Zoom before an in-person screen test with Gunn in Atlanta. When first auditioning for Warlock, Poulter was unaware of who his character's name was other than he had been teased at the post-credits scene of Volume 2, but Marvel just described the role for him as an untitled character, until Poulter was drip-fed with more information over and over until discovering how steeped Adam Warlock is in the source material. In September, Gillian reiterated her positive comments about the script and said the film would explore the characters from the previous Guardian films on a deeper level, while Seth Green, who voices Howard the Duck in the MCU, said the film would be about Gamora Nebula's story. He didn't know at the time if Howard would appear after doing so in the previous Guardians films. Poulter was cast as Adam Warlock in October, and Gunn said dozens of roles had already been cast. Poulter was chosen for the part because of his dramatic and comedic abilities, and because Gunn wanted somebody who was youthful and would fit the Marvel Studios' future plans for the character. Casting also took place for various background roles, including aliens and security guards. Prep began rehearsals and camera tests later that month, and a production meeting was held in early November, shortly before the start of filming. Gunn also reiterated his comments on not resurrecting Yondu in the film. And now on to the actual filming. Principal photography began on November 8, 2021 at Trailer Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, under the working title Hot Christmas. Henry Braham serves as cinematographer after doing so for Volume 2, The Suicide Squad, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Filming was previously scheduled to begin in January or February 2019 prior to Gunn's firing, and then in February 2021, before Gunn began work on Peacemaker. With the start of filming, Sylvester Stallone stated he would return as Stuckar Ogord from Volume 2, and Gunn posted a photo of the main cast members, which revealed that, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce this name correctly, Chukwudi Iwuji was part of the film following his collaboration with Gunn on Peacemaker. Iwuji's screen test for the film was shot instead of Peacemaker with that series' crew, and Marvel repaid this favor by letting Gunn use the Volume 3 set and crew to film Ezra Miller's cameo appearance as Barry Allen / The Flash for the Peacemaker season finale. Production designer Beth Miggle said Gunn chose to mainly use practical effects for Volume 3 after they did so with her work on the Suicide Squad. In February 2021, Gunn stated the film would be shot using Industrial Light and Magic stagecraft virtual production technology that was developed for the Disney Plus Star Wars series The Mandalorian. But in October, he said they would not be able to use that technology because the sets were too big, believing they were larger than the sets used on the Suicide Squad. The interior of the Guardians' new ship, the Bowie, was a 4-story set. Judah Makovsky serves as costume designer. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was filmed at the same time as Volume 3, from February to late April 2022, with the same main cast and sets. Gunn enjoyed being able to switch to filming the special after doing scenes for Volume 3, given the tonal difference between the two, with Volume 3 being more emotional, that helped to provide relief to the actors as well, and called the Holiday Special shoot easier than Volume 3. In February 2022, Kelly Brand was revealed to appear in the film as an alien. Shooting was also expected to occur in London, England in late 2021. Volume 3 is the first MCU film to feature the word fuck uncensored, and is spoken by Quill. Dialogue, "Open the fucking door," was not scripted, but improvised by Pratt on Gunn's suggestion. There was some consideration giving the one-liner to Groot instead. Gunn mentioned that the Korean film The Villainess inspired one of the fight scenes in Volume 3. Filming on Volume 3 wrapped on May 6, 2022. And now finally onto post-production. In early June 2022, Delia Melchior was revealed to have a small role in the film after previously starring in The Suicide Squad. Debicki was also confirmed to be reprising her role as Aisha, while Rhea Bakalova and Nico Santos were also revealed to be appearing in the film. Nico Santos, sorry if I said that wrong, but anyway. In July, Iwuji and Bakalova were revealed to be portraying the High Evolutionary and Cosmo and Space Dog, respectively. Cosmo was physically portrayed by dog actor Fred in the first two Guardians films, and Slade in the Holiday Special Volume 3. The following month, Michael Rosenbaum revealed he reprised his role as Martin X from Volume 2 in the film. On October 22, it was revealed that Bakalova would portray Cosmo in the Holiday Special ahead of her role in Volume 3. In February 2023, Azim Chowdhury revealed that he would appear in the film in an undisclosed role. In April 2023, Linda Cardellini was revealed to be voicing Lila. She previously appeared in multiple MCU projects as Laura Barton and starred as Velma Dinkley in the Gunn Ren film Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, as well as a cameo in the Gunn written and directed Super. 2 days of reshoots occurred. In late April, Tara Strong revealed that she was cast in an undisclosed role. Strong was later revealed to have been cast as Mainframe, replacing Miley Cyrus in Volume 2 due to Cyrus's unavailability. The visual effects were provided by Framestore, Wet FX, Sony Pictures Imageworks, Industrial Light and Magic, Rodeo FX, Rise FX, Crafty Apes, Buff, Will FX, Perception, and CompuHire. Stefan Caretti returns from the first two films to serve as the visual effects supervisor, while Fred Raskin returns from the first two films to serve as the editor, alongside Greg D'Auria, who returns from the holiday special. Additional editing was provided by Tatiana S. Riegel. So overall, I really love this movie, and in my opinion, this is the best Guardians of the Galaxy film, period, hands down, and also the best MCU trilogy of all, so there you go. So yeah, anyway. So overall, I give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 5 arc reactors out of 5. Well, anyway, tune in tomorrow as we look at the final film in Phase 5, or at least the final film we're going to look at this year in Phase 5 of the MCU, which is The Marvels. So, until then, in the words of the late great Stan Lee, Excelsior!